can you choose that will create a calming look to a bedroom accent wall? Hi everyone, it's Carol from Discover Interior Design, and I'm so glad you're here. Well, in this video, you're going to learn about 3 types of colors to look for that you can choose for a wall paint color on your bedroom accent wall. And we are going to talk about the colors themselves, specific colors that you want to look for, as well as color temperature and color saturation. So 3 important things to keep in mind when you want to choose a color that will look and feel calming for a bedroom accent wall. So let's get started with the first one, which is which colors to look for when you want to create a calming look. So one of the first things to look for when you want to choose a color that will look and feel calming on a bedroom accent wall is to look for colors that have the color blue in them. And of course that would be blue, but it also could be green, which has blue and yellow in it, as well as purple, which has blue and red in them. And we are not talking about just any blue or any purple or any green, because the other part of that that's super important to create a calming effect is to think about color temperature. And color temperature has to do with how a color looks and feels to us, either in a warm way or in a cooler way. And if we look at a color wheel, which is just a way to organize colors in a certain sequence, we can divide that color wheel kind of in half and show that colors on the right side, which include red, yellow, and orange, are considered to be warmer colors. So when we look at those colors, we get a kind of a warm feeling. But on the other side are colors that we consider to be cooler. And so those include blue, purple, and green. And cooler colors really do help to create a more calming feel to a room. So when you have your bedroom accent wall in a cooler color, it really does create that effect. And cooler colors are colors that kind of go in the background a little bit. So they create kind of a softer effect. And what I mean by that is that when we paint walls in a warmer color, those colors are going to grab our attention first before we notice cooler colors. So if we're talking about a bedroom where we want to create a calming look and feel, going with a cooler color is a great idea. And all colors can have warmer and cooler versions. So even a blue that is considered to be a cooler color will have different versions that are warmer and cooler. And we can think of also greens and purples, depending upon what combination is in there. If there's a cooler blue and a yellow, it may create a more cooler green. And also with purple, if we use more of a cooler blue and maybe even kind of a cooler red, that will create more of a cooler version of purple. And so I want you to take a look at these 2 examples of a room that is using different types of greens. One of these greens is a warmer version of green, and the other version of green is a cooler version. And what I want you to do is just take a moment and see which one you notice first. And the other thing to notice is which one may look and feel just a little bit more calming. So if you notice that the green on the right kind of comes forward a little bit more and looks and feels a little bit warmer, then that's the warmer color. Whereas on the left side, that green is just a little bit cooler and it kind of goes away and kind of creates a softer look. So that's an important thing to think of. So when you want to choose a calming color, look for blues and greens and purples, but also look for those versions of those colors that are on the cooler side. And then we don't want to stop there. We want to choose a color that's kind of in the blue family of colors, and also one that is on the cooler side. But the other part that's super important is to think about saturation. And saturation just has to do with how much color is in a color. So how pure a color is. So if we start out with a color that's super pure, that would be considered very saturated. And very saturated colors have a lot of energy to them, and they can be super bright and energetic. Whereas if a color is less saturated and where it almost becomes kind of like a neutral color, we could think of an earth tone color or even gray, that color becomes softer and not as energetic. So if we think about colors that we want to create a calming effect, well, we would want to go to a color that is on the softer side and maybe not super saturated. So what I want you to do is take a look at these two examples of two different types of greens in this bedroom. And I want you to notice which one you notice first, as well as which one do you think has a more energetic look and which one do you think has a more calming look. So the green on the right has a much more energetic look to it. It's much more saturated. And those colors that are saturated and provide more of an energetic look grab our attention a lot more than the color, say, on the left, which is much more calming and kind of stays in the background and provides a more soothing look and feel to that wall. But what about color value, which has to do with how light or dark a color is? I think that you can choose a color that's on the lighter side or on the darker side or in between, which we kind of refer to as mid-tone colors. So it depends upon the look and feel that you want for that room. If you want to have kind of a deeper color on that accent wall that's a little bit more of a contrast, or something that's a little bit softer. And then there's one other color that helps to provide a calming effect to a room when you paint a room in that color. And that's the color pink. And studies have shown that this is the calmest of the warmer colors. And pink is considered a warm color because pink has red in it. And pink is just a lighter version of red. So that's another option to think about. And you may want to think about using a pink that maybe has a little bit of blue in it, where it's not exactly lavender or purple, but it just has a little bit of blue in there to help kind of calm it down and kind of keep it on the cooler side. So when you want to choose a wall paint color on your accent wall that's going to provide a calming look, look towards colors that have the color blue in them, like blue itself and also green and purple. But in addition to that, you want to think about color temperature and choosing versions of those colors that are going to be on the cooler side. Then you also want to think about color saturation. So choosing those colors in versions that are maybe on the softer side and not super saturated. So I'd love to find out from you if you have any questions about choosing a calming wall paint color for an accent wall in your bedroom. And also, what are your suggestions on choosing a calming color for an accent wall in a bedroom? And just share your design ideas and your questions in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.